السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
You are getting set, right?
Well, getting set in what sense?
To start today's session.
Yeah. I think everyone just joined now. I started the meeting a little while ago, and I've started live stream too, so can share that. once we're ready. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Getting set, right?
Well, getting set in what sense?
Start.
I mean, why are you playing this back?
My boy, you are replying to the YouTube message.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تقدموا بين يدي الله ورسوله واتقوا الله إن الله سميع عليم يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا ترفعوا أصواتكم فوق صوت النبي ولا تجهروا له بالقول كجهر بعضكم لبعض أن تحبط أعمالكم وأنتم لا تشعرون إن الذين يغضون أصواتهم عند رسول الله أولئك الذين امتحن الله قلوبهم للتقوى لهم مغفرة وأجر عظيم إن الذين ينادونك من وراء الحجرات أكثر أنهم صبروا حتهم والله غفور رحيم آمنوا إن جاءكم فاسق بنبأ فتبينوا أن تصيبوا قوما بجهالة فتصبحوا على ما فعلتم نادمين واعلموا أن فيكم رسول الله لو يطيعكم في كثير من الأمر لعنتم ولكن الله حبب إليكم الإيمان وزينه في قلوبكم وكره إليكم الكفر والفسوق والعصيان أولئك هم الراشدون فضلا من الله ونعمة والله عليم حكيم وإن طائفتان من المؤمنين اقتتلوا فأصلحوا بينهما فإن بغت إحداهما على الأخرى فقاتلوا التي تبغي حتى تفيء إلى أمر الله فإن فاءت فأصلحوا بينهما بالعدل وأقسطوا إن الله يحب المقسطين إنما المؤمنون إخوة فأصلحوا بين أخويكم واتقوا الله لعلكم ترحمون يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا يسخر قوم من قوم عسى أن يكونوا خيرا منهم ولا نساء من نساء عسى أن خيرا منهن ولا تلمزوا أنفسكم ولا تنابزوا بالألقاب بئس الاسم الفسوق بعد الإيمان ومن لم يتب فأولئك هم الظالمون يا أيها الذين آمنوا اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن إن بعض الظن إثم ولا تجسسوا ولا يغتب بعضكم بعضا أيحب أحدكم أن يأكل لحم أخيه ميتا فكرهتموه واتقوا الله إن الله تواب رحيم يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا
Assalamu alaikum. Brother
وقبائل
Idris.
لتعارفوا إن
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله
أكرمكم
وبركاته.
Okay,
عند
I want to be
الله
sure I can be heard.
أتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير قالت الأعراب آمنا قل لم تؤمنوا ولكن قولوا أسلمنا ولما يدخل الإيمان في قلوبكم وإن تطيعوا الله ورسوله لا يلدكم من أعمالكم شيئا إن الله غفور رحيم إنما المؤمنون الذين آمنوا بالله ورسوله ثم لم يرتابوا وجاهدوا بأموالهم وأنفسهم في سبيل الله أولئك هم الصادقون قل أتعلمون الله بدينكم والله يعلم ما في السماوات وما في الأرض والله بكل شيء عليم يمنون عليك أن أسلموا قل لا تمنوا علي إسلامكم بل الله يمن عليكم أن هداكم للإيمان إن كنتم صادقين إن الله يعلم غيب السماوات والأرض والله بصير بما تعملون
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قاف والقرآن المجيد بل عجبوا أن جاءهم منذر منهم فقال الكافرون هذا شيء عجيب أإذا متنا وكنا ترابا ذلك رجع بعيد قد علمنا ما تنقص الأرض منهم وعندنا كتاب حفيظ بل كذبوا بالحق لما جاءهم فهم في أمر مريج أفلم ينظروا إلى السماء فوقهم كيف بنيناها وزيناها وما لها من فروج والأرض مددناها وألقينا فيها رواسي وأنبتنا فيها من كل زوج بهيج تبصرة وذكرى لكل عبد منيب ونزلنا من السماء ماء مباركا فأنبتنا به جنات وحب الحصيد والنخل باسقات لها طلع نضيد رزقا للعباد وأحيينا به بلدة ميتا كذلك الخروج كذبت قبلهم قوم نوح وأصحاب الرس وثمود وعاد وفرعون وإخوان لوط وأصحاب الأيكة وقوم تبع كل كذب الرسل فحق وعيد أفعينا بالخلق الأول بل هم في لبس من خلق جديد ولقد خلقنا الإنسان ونعلم ما توسوس به نفسه ونحن أقرب إليه من حبل الوريد إذ يتلقى المتلقيان عن اليمين وعن الشمال قعيد ما يلفظ من قول إلا لديه رقيب عتيد وجاءت سكرة الموت بالحق ذلك ما كنت منه تحيد ونفخ في الصور ذلك يوم الوعيد وجاءت كل نفس معها سائق وشهيد لقد كنت في غفلة من هذا فكشفنا عنك غطاءك فبصرك اليوم حديد وقال قرينه هذا ما لدي عتيد ألقيا في جهنم كل كفار عنيد مناع للخير معتد مريب الذي جعل مع الله إلها آخر فألقياه في العذاب الشديد قال قرينه ربنا ما أطغيته ولكن كان في ضلال بعيد قال لا تختصموا لدي وقد قدمت إليكم بالوعيد ما يبدل القول لدي وما أنا بظلام للعبيد يوم نقول لجهنم هل امتلأت وتقول هل من مزيد وأزلفت الجنة للمتقين غير بعيد هذا ما توعدون لكل أواب حفيظ من خشي الرحمن بالغيب وجاء بقلب منيب ادخلوها بسلام ذلك يوم الخلود لهم ما يشاءون فيها ولدينا مزيد وكم أهلكنا قبلهم من قرن هم أشد منهم بطشا فنقبوا في البلاد هل من محيص إن في ذلك لذكرى لمن كان له قلب أو ألقى السمع وهو شهيد ولقد خلقنا السماوات والأرض وما بينهما في 6 أيام وما مسنا من لغوب فاصبر على ما يقولون وسبح بحمد ربك قبل طلوع الشمس وقبل الغروب ومن الليل فسبحه وأدبار السجود واستمع يوم ينادي المناد من مكان قريب يوم يسمعون الصيحة بالحق ذلك يوم الخروج إنا نحن نحيي ونميت وإلينا المرجع
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم On behalf of Lagos State University Muslim Engineering Graduate Association, LASUMEGA, I would like to welcome every one of us with the best of greetings, saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Today's event, it's the third series in a series of lectures that we're going to be having for the next 6 weeks, and it is tagged the entrepreneur's journey. Today's topic specifically is titled Entrepreneurship Stories, Successes, Challenges, and the Nigerian Economy. My name is Idris Munir, and I'm going to be the moderator for today's program. We have brothers and sisters who are going to be sharing their entrepreneur journey so far, the successes, the challenges, and hopefully at the end of the session, we all will be able to take one or two things that would better our own entrepreneurship journey too. As we all know, that LASUMEGA is actually the host of this program through the Professional Development Committee, and the responsibilities of the PDC, the Professional Development Committee, include, but not limited to, the following: to train and expose the members of LASUMEGA to various IT skills, profession, and industry, to also help to incubate ideas and nurture such ideas to fruition, to build systems and solutions based on ideas that have been nurtured, and where applicable, would also help to commercialize those solutions. So I would want to implore every one of us to sit tight for this program, as it promises to be revealing, inspiring, and insightful. So would like I said, would like to thank the sponsor, LASUMEGA, through the Professional Development Committee. I will call on our brother, Engineer Gbajabi Amila Babatunde Amin, to give us the opening prayer. Brother Gbajabi Amila, kindly unmute the mic for the opening prayer.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alhamdulillah. We give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the sustainer, for sparing our lives to be here this day. We seek his blessings upon the noblest of mankind, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his household, companions, and the generality of mankind. Amen. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this session an educative and rewarding one for us all. Amen. We pray that the objective of this session to enlighten and inspire us all be achieved. Amen. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide the speakers and the listeners. Amen. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Malik Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghayril maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Brother Gbajabi Amila, for the opening prayer. May Allah accept it. Like I had mentioned earlier, today we have 4 speakers that will be sharing their entrepreneurship stories with us. So I would like to invite Sister Khadija Abioye and Sister Balikis Awegbeshola Jimo to kindly help us to give the citation all our speakers. So Sister Khadija Abioye, over to you, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I welcome everyone from Latinega and all other professions to this virtual webinar. I am also honored to welcome our guest speakers to this occasion. Today's webinar is presented to us by the Professional Development Committee of the Latinega. The topic this morning is entrepreneurship stories, successes, challenges, and the Nigeria economy, which will be discussed by 4 of the finest professionals in the entrepreneurship industry. Our first speaker for today is Engineer Adewale Abdulgani Jawando, the CEO, Acumen Development. Engineer Adewale Jawando graduated from the Lagos State University Department of Chemical and Polymer Engineering in 1999. He proceeded to the University of Lagos to obtain a master's degree in chemical engineering. He had garnered various experiences in the IT industry as well as petroleum industries. He has also worked as IT specialist at System Facts, after which he moved to Adax Petroleum Development Nigeria Limited as a project manager. His passion for entrepreneurship drove him to develop a niche for himself and his team by establishing Acumen Development Limited, a company that's into mechanical fabrication, civil construction, onshore and offshore installations and maintenance, asset integrity, corrosion management, material and equipment procurement and supply, petroleum products, distributorship and marketing, agriculture and water development, and energy and power. Also in his portfolio is the management of Acumen Farms Venture. They are into poultry, crops, and cattle. He owns companies as senior partner, Acumen Development Limited, Acumen Farms Ventures. Our second speaker for today is Oduniyi Omobolaji Habib, the CEO of Tradal Nigeria Limited. Oduniyi Omobolaji Habib graduated from Lagos State University in 2008 from the Department of Chemical and Polymer Engineering. After finishing his NYSC in November 2009, he got a job with Kids Technologies in February 2010. He didn't stay long as a paid employee because he had always wanted to pursue entrepreneurship. So he resigned from Kids Technologies in April 2014. Before his resignation, he had established MD Tech Solutions Limited, and after resignation, he was part of a team that came together to form the Car Tech Communications Limited. Because both companies relied majorly on importation at that time, the businesses suffered when the dollar rate started to increase in September 2014. And at a point, it became obvious that the companies, though small at that time, could not survive the competition. This brought forth the idea that if a business built upon spending the US dollars was struggling to survive, then a business built on earning US dollars would thrive in such an environment. Consequently, it started Tradal Nigeria Limited in May 2015, a company registered as an exporter of agro commodities and has been in the business since then till this moment. Over to you, Sister Balkis Arebeshla. Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So our first speaker for today is Hajia Latifa Laide Adekunle Onasanya, the CEO, Mother Gold. Hajia Latifa Laide Adekunle Onasanya graduated from Lagos State University in 2003 from the Department of Chemical and Polymer Engineering. Her entrepreneurial journey was birthed naturally due to finding means of survival while she was in school, specifically her first year at Lagos State University. She visited a friend at Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife. A friend was into the sales of zobo and cakes in the hostel, and this was fetching her more than enough to take care of herself as a student. This got Hajia Latifa thinking because, as at the time, there were some challenges for her getting money to take care of her basic needs while at the university. When she got back to Ekpe campus, she decided to emulate a friend at Ile-Ife. She planned on how to implement the idea, and this revealed some challenges to the business, such as need for a freezer. This made her discuss with a colleague who had the resources she needed, such as a freezer. The friend volunteered a freezer while Haja Latifa volunteered to sell a colleague's product, which was pure water. With this collaboration, Haja Latifa was able to get her own freezer within 3 months from the gains of the business. The success of this business led her to the nickname Zobotron by MSSM Brethren, and got the Businesswoman of the Year award in her graduation year 2003. Haja Latifa got married in 2005 and decided to settle with her family in Ekpe. She became pregnant in 2006 and had to attend antenatal clinics. She discovered that there were no shops where baby things were being sold around the hospital. This observation birthed the story of Mother Gold and Kids World in Ekpe. She opened shops to sell babies and kid stuffs and eventually became a household name in town. If you're within Ekpe and environs, kindly check out your kids and babies products at Mother Gold. Our fourth speaker for today is Haja Sharifa Yunus. That's the CEO, Shari's Mama's Delight SMD. Sharifa Yunus is the culinary artist, instructor, and lead formulator at Shari's Mama's Delight SMD. SMD is business in the food industry, where they teach and encourage home cooks and chefs to adopt healthier cooking lifestyle. They have been able to do this with their range of 100% natural monosodium glutamate MSG, sugar and artificial color-free spice mix that are also NAFDAC approved. She is a baker with over 20 years of experience. As a head chef, she bakes delectable cakes and desserts made from premium butter and other ingredients. Sharifa Yunus is an instructor who loves teaching the secret of spices and herbs. Our aim is to train more women who will be confident and equipped to formulate their own spice mix while joining her in changing our world a meal at a time. With her business experience, she started a business training called the SMD Tijarati, where Muslim women are taught the rules of the Sharia on Tijara, that is trading, who have been able to achieve greatness in different business fields. Together, they teach contemporary and practical business practices that aid successful businesses. At the beginning of the year 2021, she started a business consulting brand where she helps women unleash their business potential through proven strategies that aid profitability while maintaining faith, home, and work balance. She is the facilitator of the project Feeding the Fasting with SMD, where the poor in society are fed first-class meals during the month of Ramadan, mainly with donations from around the world. And in the last 7 years that the project started, they have been able to provide over 15,000 meals to the less privileged, while also providing food packs to hundreds. Mashallah, alhamdulillah. She loves reading, writing, cooking, baking, food photography, and dressing up to have a lot of fun with our girlfriends. IG handle is at SMD Nigeria, while you can reach her on Facebook at Shari's Mama's Delight SMD. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much, Sister Khadija Abioye and Sister Balkis Arebeshola, for the citation of our guest speakers. You would agree with me that, today is going to be extra special because our speakers are people we can call people of the soil. So they understand our problem, they've been through it, and to a large extent, they've been able to skate through it. So if you have questions and queries, kindly drop them in the Q&A area. Our rapporteurs for today are going to be Brother Abib Olajide and Sister Ali Umi. Our rapporteurs kindly say Teslim to the house, Brother Abib Olajide. Sister Ali Ummi, can you say testing?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So our rapporteurs will be responsible for taking note of salient points from the talks of our lecturers for today. Like it was earlier introduced, I would like to mention the names of our lecturers again. We have 4 of them: Engineer Jawando Adewale, the CEO, Acumen Development; Oduni Omobolaji Abib, CEO, Trade All Nigeria Limited; Latifa Adekunle, CEO, Mother Gold; and Sister Sharifa Yunus, CEO, Sherry's Mama Delight, SMD. So for the next 60 minutes, 1 hour, our guest speakers are going to be sharing, their entrepreneurship stories with us, and hopefully would gain a lot from that. So in no specific order, I'm going to be calling our speakers one after the other, and they would be sharing their stories with us in the next 15 minutes. So because of time, I would notify our speakers once they are 10 minutes into their presentation, so they can actually round up on their point for the next 5 minutes. So we want to hear from them, and also we want to maximize our time as much as possible. So in no specific order, I would be calling on Engineer Jawando Adewale, CEO, Acumen Development, to help us start the session. Engineer Jawando, kindly take the floor. Thank you, sir.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, thanks for having me. Well, I've been asked to share with us some of the experiences in my entrepreneurial journey. For me, agriculture has always been a passion right from childhood. And I actually wanted to study agri, save for my brother that insisted I must study engineering. But alhamdulillah, I found a way back to my passion. So looking at my experience in the agri and poultry industry, it actually started in 1984. That's from my late uncle's farm in Badagry, that's in Aradagun area, Alaji Duroshoma. Post-graduation, we were struggling to get a stable job. But upon getting a stable job, the next line of action is to start planning for my, and I did consider several options, of which the 2 are what I'm implementing today. That's in the area of agri and engineering. So Acumen Development was registered in 2013. But before then, apart from my uncle, I started a farm with a group of brothers. That farm is called Southwark Farm. It's currently not in operation today. So that's just a brief addition to the background. Why did I go into agriculture? It has always been a passion. Then it's part of my retirement plan, which I initiated as at the time I started work. So I didn't wait for 3-5 years or to get a retirement notification to do that. So when you look at the poultry industry, for those of us in entrepreneurship in Nigeria, especially poultry, there are a lot of challenges around the industry, which we need to navigate around to be successful. And I'm going to be pointing out each of them and quickly relate the experiences that we've had in that. So the first one I'll mention, which can also relate to people in other disciplines too, is the policies in this country around land acquisition and land ownership. When we're going to start Acumen Farm in 2013, 2014, the first shocker that we had was that we paid for 34 acres of land. We did our documentation, we got the land status, And 2 weeks later, government released a gazette and acquired the entire 34 acres.
Wow.
And this is money we can get back from the landowners. So we made efforts, we could not resolve around that, and that delayed us for another 2 years. So we started again. And it was difficult starting again because the fund is not in excess. We're only managing with what we have. So that's one major challenge. If you want to get land from government, in this country for agriculture, issues around land is a major issue. In the Southwest, you don't have issues around grazing routes. That one is from the Middle Belt up north. But issue around land acquisition is something one needs to pay attention to. Then the other one is the issue of starting a business, your startup capital, and having a sufficient fund. When we're going to start Satlog Farm, we're about 7 of us, 7 brothers, 5 brothers and 2 sisters. And we looked at the fund we needed to start the farm. It was about 5.5 million then to start a 3,500 capacity farm. So we tried so much to raise this money, we could not raise the amount, and we looked at different suggestions on what we need to do. So along the line, we decided to go back, think about it, go back to the drawing board. And we came back with solutions on how we can use the fund that we have to start up. For those in the poultry industry, you know that you need, if you are going to brood the chicken yourself, you need a brooder pen, you need a layer pen. That's the brooder brooding pen and the laying pen. So we looked at the difference in the two. It's just the issue of the access to wind and air. So we're able to walk around. We constructed a laying pen, and we used some ingenious way by installing nylons at the top to restrict the airflow and all those things. And we converted it to a brooding pen. Because of the challenge of fund that we could not go ahead with 3,005. And the lesson I've always learned from that, I always taught people, is that your business, if you are thinking of starting a business and you do have a challenge starting it, look at a way by which you can scale it. So scalability is very important when it comes to business startup, because that fund, except you are from a very rich home, or you have a father that is willing to put that money down, or group of friends, it's always difficult to raise the fund that you need, especially for startup. Today, we do have challenges with fund. We even turn people's money back when they want to invest. But when we're starting up, nobody really believed in us. So that was a bit of a challenge then. So we're able to do that. Then the issue of the fencing around the farm, we looked at the challenges, the cost for that. It's not something we could afford in the immediate. We looked at the risk associated with not having a fence. And that's more, it's not the risk of stealing because the birds are still young, but it's the risk of cattle around invading the farm, making noise and causing stampede on the farm. So what we did in that case was to get a Fulani man. We built a hut for him for about 10,000 naira, and we're able to defy a cost of about 1.2 million for another 3-4 months. So with that, we're able to start the farm. We use the pen house as the brooding house. We're able to install cage 2,000. We started with 2,000, and later on we brooded the 1,005 on the other side. We brooded the 1,005 on the other side. So what I'm saying in essence is that if you don't have sufficient fund, that's not an excuse. I learned from one of my mentors that where you need to throw your brain, that you don't throw your money into it. Now, if you throw money into a business that you have not really think deeply about, most times you end up wasting that money without getting maximum benefit from it. For the poultry industry, I know a lot of us have seen some videos about 2-3 months ago on the internet about a farm where some women were caught, they stole some egg, and from the body of a particular woman, about 1.5 crate was recovered. but that's 45 pieces of egg. So it's something that is very common. Issue of manpower and stealing is very common in the poultry industry. If you're going to go by way of technology, you install CCTV cameras, you do some other things to curb that. But where you have not developed up to that level, you have some challenges installing that. Good understanding of how the business operates will also assist you in dictating when there is stealing. I'll cite an experience. In 2010, I noticed that our production was staggering on some days. And the kind of model we have two Muslim brothers that we know they are very honest. And the instruction is that both of them must not leave the farm together. The senior one is the main guy, while the junior one, the Muslim brother, has to go and pick his children by 2. So when I noticed that, and from the elementary biology that we were taught in school about bacteria, the growth, the peak period, and the point at which they decline, and some other things, I later find out that that is not peculiar to only bacteria. If human being falls ill, it doesn't go back to the strength it was before sickness in one day. It actually takes time for him to return to full strength. So with that, I was able to dictate that, okay, something is happening. If you're having low production by about 5-6 crates on 3,000 beds on a particular day, and the second day we are recovering the 6 crates, then there is an issue there. So we planned around it. I asked the manager, and he actually told me that for those days, he didn't come back until the second brother, who has to go and pick his children by 2 o'clock. He didn't come back until those ones have left. He didn't come back until the other left.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah?
You have 5 minutes.
No problem. So we planned that the second day he came in I told him not to come around and announced to them that he's not coming. Eventually, he came in around 12 o'clock before the other brother left. And we searched the farm and we were able to detect where the stealing was coming from, where the egg was kept. So I'll quickly go to the issue of market instability. That when you produce, I want to quickly cite 2 examples on this, and I think I'll be ending on this note. The first one is when I started. I started production in the month of February 2009. And we found it very difficult to sell. So I'll come back from work on Friday, Saturday morning, I'm on my way to the farm to go and pick eggs and start chasing customers. So that was a bit of a challenge. Then the other aspect of market challenges or market instability is the issue of the glut season. So I want to combine the 2 together. First of all, as an entrepreneur, especially as a startup, you have to take ownership of your marketing. If you can't sell your product, nobody can sell it better than you. So, and in the process of that initial marketing that you have done, you'll be able to understand more how the market operates. So you relate with customers, you familiarize yourself with them, you understand their challenges. So later on, when you are sending people to the field and they have challenges, you are in a better position to solve those challenges for them. Then the second one on the issue of glut, we'll be hearing glut in the poultry industry. I'll tell people in the last 8 years, I've not lost egg as the egg getting spoiled as a result of glut. And why is that so? That has to do with the understanding of the market cycle for egg in Nigeria. It also has to do with understanding when to stock high and when to stock low. And it also has to do with understanding the economic system that we run and how it affects our business. I'll just cite this example. In May of this year, when the lockdown was declared, so I was watching the news and I saw that oil price was going to 0. So I called the people on my farm that we have to dispose a set of beds, about 9,000 of them. So we started disposing. People were not comfortable with disposal. They called our technical advisor. And that one too called me, and I told him that what is going to happen within the next 2-3 weeks is there's going to be serious and unprecedented glut in the industry. But a lot of people could not see it. How was I able to see it? I know Nigerians are in a monolithic economy. Now we are trying to diversify more into agriculture, but our economy is still essentially oil. The absence of the oil inflow is going to cause a lot of turbulence for the federal government and the states. States will not be able to pay salary. And I know that my own product that I'm selling, when we talk of, is a necessity, but when we talk of the ranking of necessity in terms of crisis, is not on number one. So it will become a luxury for some families. So what did we do? We sold off some of our beds. We looked at how much excess production we will have. We came up with a policy of first in, first out. And at the end of the day, for the 7 weeks it lasted, we were able to manage it, and we did not lose a single egg. I'm not talking of a crate, a single egg. That's 1/30 as a result of the glut. Why am I saying as an entrepreneur, you are both an economist, you have some knowledge of accounting, and in addition to the passion, dedication, and determination that you have, then you're also willing to learn. You have people that you consult anytime you have issues. So with that, I think you will be able to have a good start in the area of the poultry industry. So I think my time is up now. Yeah, so thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share some of my experience. I will await questions, and if there is any to make any further clarification, I'll still be around. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Engineer Jawando, for the very, very precise presentation. I mean, one thing I was able to pick from what you said is where you need to throw your brain, don't throw your money. So you need to take note of that as an entrepreneur. I would take the next speaker, which is Brother Uduni Omobolaji Abib, the CEO, Trade All Nigeria Limited, to also share his own experience with us for the next 15 minutes. Brother Uduni Habib, kindly take the floor, sir. Brother Uduni Omobolaji Habib, are you with us?
Yes, he's with us. He's mute, so he has to unmute himself. But Uduni, you are mute? Yes, you have unmute.
Okay.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yes, sorry for I didn't pay attention to the fact that I was on mute. So assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. I thank the organizers for the opportunity. Without wasting too much time into so many introduction, my story, a little has been said on the citation that was read, and it was, of course, from engineering. And when we got out, actually from the onset, I didn't want to work at all. I didn't want to go under any employer. But at that time, I had a father that insisted that I have work experience under someone. So it made me go in search of a job. Before that, there had been some little experiences, buying and selling and all. So at the point, I decided that, okay, I had gotten enough, and I wanted to start up on my own. So there were a little bit of things that we did that needed to do with importation. And it came to a point that exchange rate instability caused us problems. We couldn't import very well. We couldn't get dollars to pay our vendors, and gradually the business was collapsing. So we had to, I had to now sit down and look, okay, what next now? And that led to exportation now. At that time, I didn't have any idea what commodity I would be exporting, but I knew that I needed something that would reverse the case. If I had a business that collapsed as a result of high exchange rates, then I should be able to come up with something that would benefit from this high exchange rate too. And that was exportation. So at that time, there were a lot of things going around. I was just reading up online what exactly are people doing regarding exportation. Then I saw many, many, many things. It was overwhelming. It was overwhelming. I didn't even know where to start. So somehow, because I had a little experience in information technology, I did something. I registered a company. No, before registering the company, let me say something. At that time, I made up my mind that I wanted to start exportation, and I had gotten a list of commodities that were available here that I could export to customers all around the world. So the first thing I got into was marketing. I started to search online. Who are the people that are buying these things? Where can I get their information? And just like engineer Jawando said, as an entrepreneur, you are everything in one person. You are the marketer, you are the accountant, you are the business development manager, you are everything. So you of course, I didn't have the luxury to start employing at that time. So what I just did was I developed everything I needed. I designed my own website. I didn't have a prior knowledge of website designing at that time, but I knew that I needed to do something. So what I did was I read up on this WordPress, simple how to design, how to come up with a WordPress website. I did all that. Took pictures of this product, set it up, put my phone number, and there I started. I now started searching some of the suppliers of the products I had in mind, and somehow I came up with a list. At that time, I started with 3 things: chili, dried chili pepper, moringa flour, shea butter, and I think there was one other thing that I started with too. So I came up with a list of all of these companies that were dealing in this thing, maybe retailers in the UK, in the US, and I was giving them calls one after the other, one after the other. Now, this was also a very, very not so good experience because Nigeria has a negative business reputation outside to other parts of the world. So, mere hearing that you're from Nigeria, some don't even want to continue the conversation. And I instantly knew that this was going to be a problem because I didn't have any track record. I didn't have, and at that time, the company was even yet to be registered. So I knew it was going to be a challenge. But then somehow I wasn't deterred. I just, okay, let the challenge present itself before we know how to fix it. So I continued like that. Then there was this company in the UK at that time that I spoke with, and they wanted to buy a couple of kilograms of chili pepper and the moringa seed at that time. So we negotiated. I didn't even know how to price, but I knew how much I could get this thing locally. And I knew how much the exchange rate was at that time. So I just came up with something that was going to be profitable for me. Of course, there is also another, excuse me. Okay, so there's also another knowledge around pricing at different times of the year, but that's not the essence now. So this was the eye-opener. We negotiated, and it came to the point of fulfilling the contract. We were negotiating payment terms. And one thing I knew was at that time, I didn't have the money to fulfill this contract. I didn't have it. And I continued with the marketing. So at the point of when we were about to conclude the payment terms, I just decided to give it a try. Okay, look, I don't have this money, and if he decides to give me payment terms that is not favorable, I will eventually lose the contract. So I just put it in the payment terms that is 100% payment upon approval of pro forma invoice, and this was it. I was not so confident that this would fly because it's coming from Nigeria, coming from a first-time supplier. I didn't think that any company would want to put that all 100% payment upfront for any Nigerian supplier that is supplying them for the first time. But well, it didn't work like that because that very customer agreed to that payment terms and they paid 100% ahead. We had an agreed time to fulfill the shipment, and they said the borrowing. Don't forget, I said I had not even registered the company. So that was the next issue. Which account do I need to present? I had a domiciliary account. I didn't have a domiciliary account to pay the USD in. So quickly, I went to my bank and tried to set things up. I knew I didn't have the documentation for a corporate account. So I opened a personal account. And in the invoice, I put my personal account there. I was expecting that this is also going to raise an issue. we were already talking on a corporate level, and here you have your invoice bearing a personal account name. But as Allah would have it, all of these things I was thinking would be an issue, they eventually were not issues. The customer saw the invoice, called me to confirm the details in it, and in the next, in a few hours, I got a wire transfer confirmation. So that was how it all started. And I made some good margins on it. Then I started to intensify the marketing. At that time, I did all I could. I continued. I went from one country to the other. And by later in the year, now this very customer was a monthly kind of customer. They would listen order every month. So what I was making from them was good enough for me to give myself the feeling that I'm in business. At least we are making so amount of profit every year. But that was just one customer. So I was looking at expanding that. And then somehow along the line, because I created a website that had listed a lot of commodities, and I started getting inquiries on products that I didn't even pay attention to, like hibiscus flower, sesame seed. And my eyes opened that, okay, I think these things are even more in demand than the chili pepper and all those things I was busy marketing. So I shifted focus and I tried to focus on some of those bulk products. And I started responding to those inquiries. One thing I discovered, however, was that those other commodities were not to be sold in smaller units, in small units. They were huge orders. I mean, I would get inquiries for a full container load, for 3 full container loads, 5 full container loads. And this is me just starting. So this took me to the next big challenge, which was funding. And I wasn't so fortunate to get customers that would pay 100% ahead. In fact, most of them at that time for these bigger commodities were not even willing to pay a penny until they see the shipping document, the bill of lading that proves that their cargo has sailed from the port of departure. So I needed to source for the funds. Now, I had already fulfilled this one customer for some months, so I had some funds left, and I needed a lot to put together and fulfill this kind of request I was getting. The bank was not an option for me as a Muslim because it's interest-based, and I couldn't afford to compromise that. So I tried to put people together, friends, families, business owners I knew. I came up with a proposal on how much I think I needed, how much profit I was hoping to generate from it, how the profits will be shared. And I distributed this proposal around families, friends, some business owners, some members of our masjid, some just around putting it together. And of course, people will call you, question you.
Sorry, you have 5 minutes more, please. Yeah.
Okay. So let me quickly try to round it off. So this led to a business model whereby I had investors that trusted me enough to put their funds with me and fulfill the contract that I had. And this was how it started. And from one container, it was growing. As you fulfill, it was almost like as you fulfill one, you are getting others double what you did. So there was need for constant growth from 2017 down up to this year that we are speaking. Every order you fulfill, the next one was bigger than what was coming. So we were in constant needs of funds. And because we were fulfilling these things and they were successful, we were able to give investors what they had some part of what we are promised, at times not as promised, but at least, okay, it's fair for an investment as far as our economy is concerned. So they were willing to put more. And we now started to face other issues about quality control. Then this is one of the biggest things that we had to deal with, dishonesty generally in the country we live in. People are very, very dishonest. So we have had people that we buy hibiscus from, and when we open the bags, we see just grasses, sticks, stones, and all of those things. Those are losses. Those are issues that you have to deal with. And we try to formulate procedures and processes that will mitigate some of this. In all, it has been a very, very good experience, particularly because you are receiving your inflow, you are receiving your payment in USD. And of course, we know at the time I started, I remembered very, very well. We were exchanging US dollars at maybe 215 at that time. And gradually it was going up, 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 up. And before you know it, when you are fulfilling an order, let's say at January, a particular year, you have given your price to that customer based on an exchange rate of maybe 200 naira to 1 USD. Let's assume an invoice of $20,000. That's about 4 million naira. So when the payments, when you fulfill the contract and the payment eventually comes in March the same year, on the black market, dollar had gained maybe 30 naira per year. So there's this extra 30 naira. Don't forget that 4 million that you're already expecting to get, it already included your profit, your margin, your costs, and all those things that you had built into that price. So when that 30 naira when that money is coming in March and the naira had gained 30 naira, that extra 30 naira on $20,000 that you are getting, it's an addition. It's a benefit that you are getting from, and in accounting, so these people have put it as foreign exchange gain. That 30 naira multiplied by $20,000 is an additional 600,000 naira that you have gotten. It wasn't part of your projection. This is one benefit that I think should drive anybody that wants to go into exportation. It has been like that. It has been happening like that since 2016 or even 2015 to this moment. There was 2017, of course, there was a drop when the CBN stopped sale of USD to the VDCs. It crashed the price down, and that was short-lived because the next year again, we started to see that increase. And this really, really led to a lot of more than projected profit for a lot of exporters. So, of course, there are a lot of challenges that we have. Quality control is an issue. Poor harvesting is an issue because we export majorly agricultural commodities. So our poor harvesting, poor handling, there are issues that we deal with. Sometimes you have your project rejected. Sometimes it's not even cleared customs. Sometimes FDA, the equivalent of NAFDAC in the US, they consider it unfit for human consumption. So you have to reroute it to another country that probably would accept it. And in some cases, though rare, you might have to bring those products back to Nigeria and think of how to recoup your funds locally. So these are some of the things that we have been facing. And of course, one major challenge in this business is also accessibility to our ports. We all are aware about the state that Apapa port has been for close to over 6 years or over 5 years right now. So, and that challenge is still there. But in the midst of all of these challenges, we need to swim through it together. And that's what we have actually been trying to do. And alhamdulillah, we have been sailing through, though difficult, but at least alhamdulillah, things have been going through. So of course, there are a lot of things to talk about, from just exporting raw agricultural commodities, what has been happening in the area of processing, what measures are we taking to try to take ourselves away from exporting just raw product and add value to it. Just like Nigeria, we are comfortable exporting crude oil, and then we buy the refined product. It happens in agriculture too. We export raw cocoa and we buy the chocolate. We export raw cashew and we buy the nuts. So what other opportunities are in this area that we can tap into? Travel as a company, what efforts have they made in this area? These are longer discussions that it will take time to start to discuss. But I think that if I had spent 10 minutes when I was notified, by now I would have spent additional 5 minutes. So it's good to say that my time is up right now. And if there are other things that I didn't mention that I was expected to mention, my attention can be called to that as the program gets along. So for now, I say Jazakumullah khairan and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much, Brother Abib, for sharing your experience with us. And we'll take questions when it is time for Q&A. And I'm sure the listeners will have questions for you also, so you can still stay with us. So one of the things I was able to pick from what you shared with us is that for every order that you fulfill, it's like a bigger one awaits you. So, and usually, you could translate this to being trustworthy, being, prompt on your agreement. Trustworthiness is a key thing that you should have as an entrepreneur. And once you're able to do that, people refer you to their other colleagues and you keep going. And also the power of collaboration. So you can't do it all. And I think Engineer Jawando also talks about this also. So you need to have a network of people that, that can help you drive your entrepreneurship stories. So thank you very much again, Brother Abib. So we would now move from the male folks. We want to go to our mothers, the female folks. So I will be calling on Sister Latifa Adekunle, the CEO Mother Gold, to also share our own experience with us for the next 15 minutes. Sister Latifa Adekunle, over to you, ma.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen for the gift of life. And Alhamdulillah for this opportunity to be with my brothers and sisters after a very long while. Yes, it's been a while. Alhamdulillah. When we say trade, you see, to a layman, trade is buying and selling, karakata. But when we have to look at it generally, when we say trade, as in trading, it is about moving commodities from one individual to another in exchange for money or money worth. The beauty of it is that trade is something that doesn't really need any professional certificate, any professional certification to start with. It's something that if you find out that there's a need, it's something that you can venture into, you can learn along the line. So you don't really need so much skill to begin with. You just need the zeal and to realize that you have you're going to provide solution.
I think we lost her, Brother Idris. Am I right?
Yes. We just lost her now.
And I think
she's back.
We can't. Your mic is mute, Sister Latifa. Sister Latifa, we can't hear. Your mic is mute.
As somebody, now I realize that I love having money. I want to have money of my own, you know.
Going back, Latifa.
Now,
we lost you for a few seconds. Oh, I think our network is not so good. Okay, so you're back now.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you now. Go ahead, please.
Okay. You want me to do something?
Yes, we lost you for a few seconds. So maybe you can just, travel back 30 seconds to the stuff you said.
Okay. Yeah. I said trade is a very beautiful thing. Beautiful in the sense that it doesn't really need any special skill or special certification to begin. It's something that you can learn while in the job, you can improve with time. So it's something that anybody can start with. And like I said, the essence of making trade, the essence of trading is to gain profit, is to have money. As we know, responsibility is enormous. We have to pay bills. We have a lot of things that we really need money to do. So with that, you find out that at least trade is a good option that can fetch you such. Going back to when I got married, I said I was pregnant in 2006. I look at it, what can I do as a new bride, as a graduate? But as it is, after getting married, I realized, I discussed with my husband, I don't want to be a career woman. I want to have time to be able to face the home front. So, because like we said earlier, I stay in Ekpe, or we reside in Ekpe, and if I have to work, as in work with my professional certificate, I mean I have to walk away from Ekpe, And my husband works in Ikoyi. If I begin to work there too, how do we manage the home front? So I look at it. Since I already have passion for business, let me go into this. But what kind of business do I want to do? I don't know. So that was what, as in when I got to the clinic and I saw that at least we had a lot of pregnant women there. When I got back home, I told my husband, this is the idea that I got from this antenatal visit that I made. And he was like, okay, that's good. But how do I begin? There was no money. So I had to just take up a job. I had to take up a teaching job because there was no, well, maybe at that time, I don't have anybody that can give me loan. So I took up a teaching job of just 7,000 naira. And from there, I was doing contribution, which is a job of 5,000 naira. So 10 people, we have 50,000. Then coupled with the fact that as I was pregnant, of course, I'm expecting a baby too. So I need to buy baby things for the the baby I'm expecting. So with this, I had to go to Lagos. So I went majorly to buy the baby stuff that I'll be needing for my own baby. And in order to test run, I had to take it to the antenatal in one of the visits. On getting there, I saw that people were showing interest. They loved it. There was nothing like that at that time, as in inside as in people bringing things into the clinic. There was nothing of sort. So I started that, and I saw that people were really showing interest, and that was how it started. So for every visit, I was always going with one thing or the other from, and before you know it, I realized that this business was going to thrive. What I'm trying to say there is that when we have idea, it is good to start small. It is good to test run. We don't, because okay, we have money for this and we just dabble into a business just like that. It is good to test run and see how viable that business is going to be. So that is it. And another thing I realized in the hospital was that there were some class of people, we had like 2 classes of people that were there. The average, or will I say the non-elites and the elites. And when I now move around Epe, generally, I saw that a lot of their shops, they were selling the basic things for maybe like the non-elites. And with me as an elite, I realized had taste for good quality. And I realized also that in the hospital, as in the antenatal, there were some people like me too that has taste for good quality products too. So I look at it, I think I have to be smart about this, because as at then, there was no shop that you can really get quality baby products there. So except you have to move as in to Lagos Island to go and get. So I saw that as an opportunity that I was going to be smart about. Yes, and after which I tried as much as possible to get a location facing the general hospital. So I had to make a container, because then there was no there. So I had to make a container like that, and that was just how I started. So as I was, like I said trading, you learn in between the line, as in along the job, you get to gain more experience. I realized that anytime I go to the market, there are some people, there are some traders too, maybe like selling in other locality, that you see that have taste for good quality too. You see that sometimes you are fortunate to enter the same shop, and you realize that what you picked are the same thing that these people are picking too. So you realize that, okay, I think your line of thought is in line. Before you know it, I made friends with some people. So I had, I was able to build a tribe, for myself with that. So we exchanged ideas. Sometimes I had to travel down, as in to their shops. I remember I've traveled to Ibadan just because I want to know how, as in one of the traders I said I met in the market, how she was doing, how she was faring, at least in her own location. I went to Ikeja to see how they are doing, because you see, Epe is a suburban area. It's just, at least, it's not like the city. And that's why when you see something in the city, if it is being brought down to Epe, it somehow, it looks, I wouldn't say it looks strange, because I'm not used to it. So I had to change status quo, as in to at least to bring added value to what they are used to. I remember one of my doctor friends was saying, hey, mother gold, why do you don't need all this packaging that you are doing? But because I have my targeted audience, I want their life, because I realize that it is those those airlines that can really appreciate the value that I was going to give. And these are the people that will be able to buy my products. So I realized that. But at the same time, I did not leave the non-airlines. So I didn't leave them, as in I didn't leave them out, but I know that I was just going to be smart about it. And that's why when you get to Ekpe, the very first place where you're talking of good products, the name that comes to mind, I'll just go to Motherhood. And that doesn't come without too, because when you want to attract the airlines, you realize that you can just not do things the same way everybody's doing. You have to package, as in you have to really brand, you have to offer good services, you have to, so I had to use customized nylon. I did a lot of packaging in the shop, and
Sister
alhamdulillah.
Latifa, assalamu alaikum. So please, so you have 5 minutes more.
Yeah. Going back to purchasing power, you find out that generally things are hard, as in things are a little hard for people, and that people might not be able to shop the way they used to be because there's inflation and all sorts. So as a smart trader as I am, now I try to see, okay, what could I do? I now offer substitute goods. You understand? You find out that there are some brands that are very, as in they are known and they are very expensive. But as a smart trader, you know that you cannot continue to stock those brands because purchasing is low now. You realize that you have to look for substitute, as in look for good products. They might not be brand, you understand, or maybe they may not be popular brand, but they are equally good, that will still give the customers the desired satisfaction. So I realized that these are things that I have to stock more now. Another thing I had to do now is I have to cut costs as much as possible. Like I deal with imported goods too, and I import from different countries, from the US, from the UK, from China. And I realized that if you be importing from China, it is quite of the same product. It is quite cheaper when you go to China, rather than when you import from China, rather than you importing that same quality of product from UK or US. So now that is where I've been cutting the cost. Then another thing I did is to reduce, to make sure that I go on sea cargo and not air, because to go for air cargo, fine, it will come in time, but then it is very expensive. It will make the product expensive. And when products are expensive, of course, it will affect the purchasing power, thereby affecting your gain too. Then another thing I realized is I only now stock more of needs. What do these people really need? So I deal with the non-allied. So I make sure that, okay, what those non-allied, I stock more of those things. And for the allies, I provide as in substitute goods that are of equal or almost that will give the same satisfaction. Another thing I did was to re-strategize. When you talk of marketing strategy, I had to re-strategize. Re-strategize in the sense that now a lot of people that patronize the hospital are not as much as those that patronize the tradomedical centers, as in those local birth centers. So now I have reps that go to those places, to share our handbill, and we always offer you a gift for every referral you make. So those are the things I think I have been able to do, as in talking of aggressive marketing strategy. So then I also prefer this idea of flexible payments. Yes, at least for every visit you come, you have a card. You can always drop maybe 500 for every visit. And when your money is as in enough, then you come and pick what you want to buy. So I think with that, then I also offer free delivery when you're able to purchase from us. So I think that has really been able to help us navigate at this crucial time. And aside from you buying from us, I try as much as possible to build a kind of relationship beyond the business, so that at least you will be able to refer another person to us, because at least I've built the business at least like a family. So people will recommend me to people, and I think that is one of those things that made us at least stand out despite the economic situation of the country. So, and you try to show up, then courtesy. There are a lot of things, you understand, that I think I have been doing, and alhamdulillah, it has really been and I had been to in any loan at all. As in, I take loan, but only soft loans. Soft loans are loans that, of course, you don't have any markup, you don't have to pay any markup on. And so even all these Mudoroba 20%, you find out that it is still something you have to part with. And at this time, you might not be able to afford that. So with that, so I have to go for, at least I had businesswomen like me that, okay, when you want to go to the market, you get from this, and when is the other person's turn, you understand, you give it to the person, and at least everybody is able to grow along the line. Jazakumullah khairan for staying tuned.
Thank you very much, Sister Latifat, for and sharing your experience with us. And you all will agree with me that so far it has been revealing, and it's like all of the thoughts of our speakers have been converging. One of the things Sister Latifa actually mentioned is that as an entrepreneur who is into trading, you should always look out for solving people's needs. So when you solve people's needs, then it's more like your market is, readily available. Having like minds, people you can talk to, you can discuss your business problems with, just like we are doing today. So if you feel that you're having challenges with your business, your entrepreneurship journey today, probably you are not alone in it. And I'm sure the experience that have been shared so far would help you. Aggressive marketing, building relationship with your customers. These are some of the things we need to, take cognizance of if we really want to go far in our entrepreneurship journey. I would be inviting Sister Sharifa Yunus, the CEO, Sherry's Mama Delight SMD. She's going to be sharing her experience like the other people have done in the next 15 minutes. Mr. Sharifa, the floor is yours.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for inviting me to this event. I am honored to be among amazing entrepreneurs. Everything that we start, the best thing to do is to have a good intention. Some years ago, while I was on the Polytechnic, I came across a verse of the Quran where Allah says, tell the believing women to stay in their homes and not reveal themselves like the people of old. Now, somehow this verse, it was a loud bell in my head. It became my mantra. And it became very important to me. And now, while I was
Sharifa,
yes, please. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. I think well, Amunu is from your side. We can hear her. Sister Sharifa, you can continue.
Okay. All right. So
we lost you for a few seconds, making reference to the verse of the Quran.
Okay, so there's a verse of the Quran.
Okay, please go ahead. I think you're back on.
That says, tell the women to not reveal themselves like the people of the home. They should stay in their homes. And that verse became my mantra, and it became everything that helps me build whatever I have today. So I decided that when I marry, I wanted a business that I could run from my home. And I didn't particularly have any idea what business I wanted to do, but I just wanted something that I could do.
We lost you again.
My network
Sister
is very
Sharifa, well, yeah,
yes.
the network is kind of not stable. Maybe you can actually.
Hello, my network is not good for you there, maybe because of the rain. Okay, can you give me
Stop your video
2 minutes?
so we don't.
Okay, please give me 2 minutes. I'll change. Give me 2 minutes. Give me 3 minutes. I'll change my location.
No, Sister Sharifa, hold on.
I don't think.
I think check your network, Manu. Sister Sharifa is fine. We can hear.
The MC's, the moderator's network that is so bad. But for the sister, I think her network is good. She can continue.
Sister Sharifa, you can continue. Manu, just check your network.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I've been interrupted a couple of times that it confused me. Okay. So when I got married, I started thinking of what could I do from home? What business could I do? And I tried a lot of things that didn't really work out well. But there was something that was constant. I loved cooking. I loved baking. I loved creating things in the kitchen. And after a while, I would do this and give friends. After a while, I decided to, why not just turn this into a business? So I started baking for people around close to 20 years ago. Let's say 15 years ago. I started baking to sell, and it was good. One of the things is that about me is I don't have any formal degrees, formal qualifications for my baking. I learned everything by myself. I would buy things from fast food, say cake, and then I would create recipes that would meet that cake, and then create recipes that would be better than the cake. So I call myself sort of a scientist. I'm not a scientist. I call myself a sort of a scientist because I always experiment, wait for results, put them down, and then it becomes my my recipe. And I think that is one of the things that makes me as good as I am, because there are things that I've done over time. There are a lot of experiments that I've placed. And so, well, it was working well, but like everybody here, finance was a problem, was a major challenge. And then one major challenge too was my intention. That was being a woman in the faith field. There were places that if I worked, they would look down on me and assume that nothing good would come out from a person who is covered. And not necessarily just Muslims, but you'd be shocked that some of them too are Muslims. So it didn't matter how well my product was, people would judge me by my dressing. So I started needing to hide that I was a Munakoba, and the people would go on with me. That was strange, but that's the kind of world we in. And so finance was a challenge. I didn't have enough, so I would almost end up spending even my capital. After a while, because I had a challenge of people being able to relate with me because I was Munakoba, especially not Muslims, I decided to change a bit and do something else. And I thought of starting a cooking business whereby I teach people how to cook. I'm a fantastic cook, if I say that myself. I teach people how to cook. And then I was doing that, but people didn't still take me seriously as a cook. And that didn't really work out very well. So I started thinking, what can I give people that is different? And that I would create a specific niche. And that was where my natural spices and herbs came up, because it started as an accident. Somebody gifted me some spices and herbs, but I had no idea what they are or how it is used. But I started cooking with natural spices, and I tried to make like me. I love to investigate before I start something. So I went to Ireland and asked that, do you think Nigerians are ready to eat meals that are not cooked with the usual seasoning cubes? Most of the people there were making fun of me that how would that happen? What is wrong with using seasoning cubes? It was a smart guy that said that I should give it a try, that I'll be shocked. It might be the next new thing. And I wish I knew this person. I wish I still have his contact with me to tell him that the little she gave me became a big deal. Because right now, one of the best industries to be is the wellness industry, especially after COVID. People are more health aware and they want to take care of their health. And so if you're in the wellness business, it is selling really well. It's a good thing to invest in. And being a pioneer, as of the time I started, I had no idea who did it. There was nobody cooking naturally. And I can almost say that probably I was the first person in Nigeria who actually started doing business, cooking 100% natural, creating natural spices, and that gave me a lot of edge. I continued working from home, and somehow after a while, my home started being not enough. I was importing the natural spices and herbs, and now one of the problems we have, and that we cannot rely too much on the local produce of spices and herbs, is that we do not investigate or take to the lab our spices and work on it to see the advantages and contraindications that these spices and herbs could have. And because of that, I need to be careful. If you're selling something to the public, you have to be sure that it is safe. You have to understand the contraindication if it has. And so it was difficult for me to use some of our own spices and herbs because there was just nobody who was interested to know how wonderful our spices are. So the only other thing I could do was to import, because many of the spices, or most of the spices that we use, have well-documented lab results on what they do, their benefits, their contraindications, and every other thing. And it's also a challenge because right now, Naira value is nowhere. And when you are importing, it means that your cost of production is very high. And now that Naira is a mess, it makes things more difficult. The only thing that I would say has helped us is because we have amazing, wonderful, can we have, what is it? I thought I was shouting. Okay. One of the things that has been a plus for me or for the business is because we have amazing products. We have spices and herbs that does what it promises. And because we have this, we are able to sell well, but we still have a problem. Our profits for using natural spices and herbs, and realize that there is money in wellness, there's money in natural spices and herbs, and it's working well for them. And the problem again is when you start creating a niche of something that is not needed, it's not the best form of business to do. If you want to start a business, the best thing to do is to find out what do the people need. And when you try to provide solutions to need, you're going to do better there. But when I started, people didn't need natural spices. I mean, people didn't even understand that it was healthier to eat naturally and the seasoning cube MSG is dangerous. People didn't know that. So I had to teach them and tell them, do you know how dangerous? And it took a whole lot of stress to convince people that natural cooking is the best for them. And so it was difficult. It was very difficult. After a while, when I saw that I wasn't still hitting the sales target, I had to create something called the Meetup Kitchen, where I invite women to come. I show them how you can mix up spices, and then I use it to cook in their presence, and they ate it. In eating it, it made it very obvious to them that this thing can be done and it can be delicious. But yet again, people didn't realize how dangerous or unsafe consuming MSG regularly is. So it was still a problem. But I continued to spend money on ads, and it started getting better. Now, I'm going to say something a little bit different for what some people ordinarily think.
Sister Sharifa, assalamu alaikum. Sorry. Please, you have 5 minutes more for your presentation. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So one of the things that people make mistakes with is not understanding the rules of business. If you don't know the intricacies of business, you're going to have problems succeeding faster. There is no point in putting down your money and you're not making profit on it. And the best way to make profit on your money is to understand the rules of business. Now, the social media is where people sell, and you have to make good use of the social media. And to make good use of social media, you should learn how to sell on social media. If you have any business and you're not using the social media, you're leaving money on the table. So you should learn how to take good product photography, how to use social media, have a website that is formal and good and user-friendly. All these things will help your business. When I started my business, seven-figure business, because I am consistent, I find out the rules of doing business right. I am very careful about making things that Islam is not think that Islam is against, because then again, intention is extremely important. And no matter how good your intention is, it has to be backed with rules of what the Sharia allows us to do. And all those things have helped the business. I've learned from my challenges. I have grown, and I know that you can really succeed in the wellness business at the moment. And if you put your mind into anything, you can. The sky, like they say, is the beginning. So I think I've used up my 15 minutes. I had to rush through. Yeah. I hope. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you very much, Jazakumullah khairan, Sister Sharifa. So if the audience have questions, would definitely take them during the question and answer segment. So thank you to all our speakers. It has been, a very, very revealing session. And I'm sure the listeners have picked 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 things that they are going to be using in their own entrepreneurship journey also. So please, we're going to be going on a 5-minute break. But during this break, you can drop your questions in the chat box, and then we'll be taking them after we return from the break. Assalamu alaikum. Okay, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We have, today we have quite a number of businesses that are sponsoring today's program. One of them is Safina Logistics Services, the delivery service company in Lagos. They offer home delivery services. They run errands, food delivery, office deliveries, door-to-door delivery, and general logistics. They offer pickup and delivery at your convenience. So for those of us who are into businesses that we need to make deliveries to our customers, we can actually outsource our delivery segment of our business to Safina Logistics, tested and trusted. So you can reach out to them on the numbers shown on the screen, 080-3098-0218 or 080-533-43965. So you can reach out to Safina Logistics Services to help you handle your delivery service part of your business. Our next sponsor is Darby's Catering and Allied Services, an experience extraordinaire. So you would agree with me that for events that we do in this part of the world, to make it more colorful, item 7 is key. We need good food. So Darby's Catering and Allied Services provides indoor and outdoor services for all occasions and events, such as wedding, naming ceremonies, child dedication, anniversary, housewarming, and indoor and parlor parties. They also provide catering services for social corporate services, for meetings, conferences, seminars, dinner, luncheon, and etc. Also, they provide African pot extraordinaire, so amazing African foods, eforiwo, egusi, edikaikon, ogbono, afang, name them, and also small chops, pastries. So you can reach out to them through their contact 31 Oyeofe Street off Onitolu Road, Bajasu, Lagos. You can also reach out to them via their mobile numbers 0813 733 6215, 08056 773659, 0706144 Darby's Catering and Allied Services, an experience extraordinaire. Reach out to them for all your catering and allied services for different occasions. Also, we have a special announcement from Lasu Mega. We decide that it is important that we celebrate among us colleagues who have distinguished themselves in their area of endeavor, business and career. So we are calling for nomination for the Career Person of the Year Award 2021. I mean, those who are eligible for nomination is an active member of LASU Mega who has excelled in his career. And to nominate, you can reach out to Brother Ibrahim Idowu, 080-277-31874, or Abogun Abdullah, 08134-363-256. The nomination started on the 2nd of August, and it's going to be ending on the 31st of August. Also, there's also a nomination for the Business Person of the Year. So we're trying to balance the case here. So for people who have also excelled in the entrepreneurship space, we also want to give award for the Business Person of the Year. And nomination also starts 2nd of August, and it's going to be ending on the 31st of August. You can reach out to the numbers earlier called, or you can reach out to any any member of the LASU Mega executive to get the appropriate link. It's not properly displayed here, so we might have difficulty seeing it here. So you can reach out to any member of the executive or Ibrahim Idowu to or on the LASU Mega platform. The link will also be shared to every one of us. Thank you very much as you forward your nomination and also patronize our sponsors for today. Kindly keep dropping your questions in the chat window. We'll take as, the ones we can take, and the ones we are not able to take, we'll send to the speakers, and the responses will be forwarded to the appropriate person who asked the question. Thank you very much. Okay, welcome back everybody from the break. We are going to be going straight into the question and answer segment. I also want to thank our speakers once again for sharing their experiences with us. Experience, they say, is the best teacher. I work in the AI space, and we all understand this about experience. So, the reason for you sharing your experience is for upcoming entrepreneurs not to fall in the same pit you did, and hopefully they can, scale faster. So thank you very much for that. Some questions have actually been dropped in the chat window, and some of our speakers are already responding to them. So I won't probably take those ones again, because we all can just go to the chat window and see some of those questions that have been answered. I have a question here. The person says, okay, I think it's a direct question. How can I get your contact? I'm into commodity business. I need a guide on how to get foreign buyer and how to export my product. I think this question is directed to Brother Habib. His contact will be shared to also we can have a personal conversation with him. Another question also says, I'm into share nut, share butter, and all of this. I need a guide, okay? So I think would reach out to you. We'll connect you and Brother Habib together. Okay, a question here for Sister Lasifa. The question here says, did you ever feel saddened by your move from engineering to trading? So you spent 7 years, because we have strike, definitely, days of strike. So it's not 5 years. So you spent 7 years, and then suddenly you left engineering and you transitioned into trading. So, I mean, was there any point you felt saddened by this transition, Sister Latifa? She with us? Okay, so I think when she comes back, she can take that. Another question is, how does, oh, Sister Latifa, your mic is mute. Your microphone is mute, so we can't hear you. Your microphone is mute. We can't hear you, Sister Latifa. Or mute, okay, yes. Walaikum salam.
Yeah. The person asked if I've been saddened in any way. For those that know me in real life, saddened, I've not been saddened at all. Because I find that it's something I have passion for. I like meeting people. You know, when you are doing something that is practical, like engineering, I think engineering is more. Yeah, when you are talking trade, people interact. So I feel in.
Okay, thank you very much.
Then
so,
the second question, okay. Should I go to the second question or I should just leave that?
Okay, the second question is trading and kids. How do you manage? Okay, you can go ahead, please. Yes.
Yeah, as regards trading and kids, that's really a lot. It's really a lot, and you have to just put in a lot of things to be able to manage. As it is, I have people in the shop, as in have reps. Though managing the shop with reps too is something that is really a lot because it needs a lot of monitoring. So my kids go to school with the school bus. So when they get back, I try to, alhamdulillah, I have a car, so I try to come back home to see everything is, in place. Whatever I try and regulate the time that I want to be in the shop and the time I must be at home. So I think with that, and some things that need to be done in the home, I outsource them. You understand? Maybe like some chores. So I think with that, I've been able to manage them together.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. So that question, I mean, we need to outsource, we need to be resourceful, and we need to manage our time properly to be able to strike a balance, work, home balance. Thank you, Sister Latifa. We have a question here to Engineer Jawando. And the question is, after losing the land, how did you keep moving? I mean, losing a land of that magnitude, what kept you moving? Were you discouraged? I mean, what was the drive that kept you moving?
Okay, I think I've already answered that, but for the purpose of those that have not checked, well,
okay.
Loss is always a risk in business. And if you do business risk, you make contingency for those kind of things. It's something that actually set us back, delayed our start process by about 2 years. We had to source for money and get additional land within the acquisition, outside the acquisition area. But alhamdulillah, in 2020, we had somebody that showed interest. And as Muslims, you have to tell people the issues on the transaction. So we informed him, and he said we should not worry, that he will buy it and sort it out with the governor. So he's also a very influential politician. So we sold and we got out of there. So we were able to recover our money, 400% of what we invested initially. So he was able to buy it after.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Another question here is, I think it's a general question. How does one really need to quit his job and start his own business, considering a lot of expenses, house rent, no personal car, I mean, a lot of expenses. So for people who are trying to transition from paid employment to being entrepreneurs, how do you, I think the people that can answer this question is Engineer Jawando and maybe Brother Abib also. How was it easy for you to transition from paid employment into starting your own business?
The advice I would give my brothers and sisters is that transition should happen.
Oh, we lost Engineer Jawando. Okay, Brother Abib, are you there? Maybe you can help us. Okay, you're back.
Okay, yeah. Okay, it's back. Okay, let's continue.
Okay, that transition should start when you are still making money. You are not going to depend on that business. For me, I set a target of my exit when I should commence my exit, not to finally exit. So, as the point when my side business start giving me 200% of what I'm currently earning. That's when you talk of currently earning, that's the total annual emolument, including all the allowances and upfront and everything. So did I wait till that time to exit? The answer is no. Because when it was about 100%, there was an opportunity to exit with some a special voluntary exit, with some pay, and I know that would take me beyond the 200%. So for me, that's a good time to exit. But having a business idea that you have not tested is not best for you to start small, learn all the issues around the business, and as the business grows, gives you better return, giving you good returns, then you can exit to go and face it. But in my own case, I had a target of 200% of my current total salary. So that's when I could exit.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So you have to test your business before, going into it full. So you need to test and be sure it's worth it before quitting your job that is paying the bills. But Abib, can you briefly also share with us how was the transition?
Okay, in my own case, even though I agree 100% with Engineer Jawando, yes, you have to have a plan. You have to kick off a side business and see it start growing before you determine if it's safe. But my own experience wasn't like that. All of the business I started while in the paid employment failed. All of it. I think about 3 or 4 different businesses. They all failed, and then there was this primary reason that I could figure out why they were failing. I didn't have the time to monitor it. I was not present. It was lacking that administration and supervision that it ought to have gotten. And I wasn't fortunate enough to have that honest, trusted, competent representative in those businesses. So at that point, I felt that anything I wanted to do next, I needed to give my time. I needed to give myself I needed to give it my all. I needed to give myself the time, and I couldn't do that while I was in a paid employment. So what I just did was I tried to set some funds aside that I can use to run my own expenses, my family, my responsibilities on my family for a couple of months, 6, 8 months. I tried to put that aside, and somehow we started, and even though those funds eventually became what we used to run the business, but again, it was just a plan, that okay, have these funds in case of anything for the next 6 months, hoping that within the 6 to 8 months time, you would have gotten your business to start generating its own fund. It was a risk, and honestly, I may not advise anybody to take that route, but that's my honest experience. That's the way it went for me. And even before it was 6 months, I already started getting money from some of the businesses I decided to start. So I attempted it the way Engineer Jawando had put it, being a paid employment, run a business on the side, watch it grow. But unfortunately, in my own case, it wasn't growing. It was failing. It was dropping. So I felt that, look, let me come out here and face my thing myself. And alhamdulillah, that was how it went.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, stories there are peculiarities in our experiences, and that's why we need to hear from different sides of the coin So, I mean, there's a question here, and I think this is going to be our last question because of time. It's directed to Sister Sharifa. And the question is, how do you manage niqab and non-Muslim and Muslim and non-Muslim customers? How are you able to, win them over?
Well, okay, so for my online business, I didn't reveal the face behind the brand. I made sure that my products are very good. Whatever business you do, then you should be able to give out products that's top notch. You cannot compromise on the quality of your product in terms of services or the product itself. So that was how we did. We have really good products. So they didn't really care who was the face behind the brand. But after several years, I knew that it was important to come out. I'm not ashamed of who I am. So I wanted to come. I felt that it was time for me to come out. And so I think early this year, I did a video, what's it called now? A documentary video to say this is the face behind the brand. And it's been amazing. If people would tell me that we are proud of you, you inspire us, because one of the things I want to do is to break barriers. I want people to see that women who wear the hijab or the face veil are wonderful. They can do amazing things. I want to break barrier even for the average Nigerian Black woman, talk less the average Nikobi who works from home. So I've been having it really good. People are very impressed, and they are willing to do business with us. It doesn't mean that the problem has solved, because sometimes trying to get influencers for our page when they are not Muslims, they are funny, they don't want to. I feel maybe they're ashamed of who we are, but that's their loss. So in total, it's been wonderful, and I have great amounts of confidence, and it shows in everything I do. So I don't care what you think about. I just know that I'm not ashamed of my religion or the way I dress, and I come out really very strong. So it's been okay. So just make sure that you have amazing products. Don't be ashamed. Have great confidence and do the best that you can do, of course, with Allah's support and all. So that's it, basically.
Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, you said it all. Provided you have very, very quality product, and your product becomes a household name, nobody cares who is really behind this product. People just care the product can solve their problem. So thank you very much. And I think one of the persons you've actually inspired, maybe you know or you don't know, is a video that I saw on Instagram of a Nicobite who was actually learning to make shoes. She found it difficult to really get trained because, when she walked into the shop, she needs to get trained. The guy looked at her like, you can't learn this. But then she was able to convince, and now she's also making wave in her choosing career. So thank you very much for inspiring a lot of people through your business. And thank you to all our speakers also, because one way or the other, you've inspired us today, for those who are in business and for those who are going to be starting soon also. So because of our time, I would like to, for the questions that are unanswered yet, we'll take the questions and we'll send it to the appropriate speakers and we'll get them answered and relay the answers to you. I will call on Engineer Sulaiman Adebowale to help us with the vote of thanks and also give remarks for today's session. Engineer Sulaiman Adebowale.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
I express all gratitude to Allah for sparing our lives to witness these events. I would like to thank our distinguished speakers for gracing today's webinar and making the discourse interesting and meaningful. I would also like to thank our members, participants, sponsors, and event coordinators for their presence and contributions to making this webinar a great success. I pray that Allah in His infinite mercies rewards everyone in manifold.
Amen. Thank you very much. Like we said in the beginning of this session, it's a 6 weeks program that is run concurrently, and today is the 3rd edition of the series. So next week, 28th of August, we're going to be having the 4th edition. And the topic we're going to be discussing is investment and negotiations in business. And this will be delivered by Dr. Lukman Wahim, an assistant professor of entrepreneurship, University Brunei Darussalam. So you would agree with me that this session is one that should not be missed. So we want to implore you to join us next week as we continue to move along this series, the entrepreneur journey. I would want to, so I got corrected that our speaker for next week is now a professor. So we're going to be having a professor of entrepreneurship, University Brunei Darussalam. So it's definitely going to be an interesting one. So kindly join us next week for this session. So I will call on Brother Abdul Rashid Abari to give us the closing dua.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We give thanks to Almighty Allah for giving us the opportunity to complete this webinar successfully. We thank Him, we adore Him, we praise Him. We pray that He make this an ujah for us and not against us on the day of judgment. We pray that He continue to strengthen our path to success, inshallah. We also pray for our CEO that may Allah continue to make their business to flourish more beyond their imagination. And also aspiring entrepreneurs, we pray that Almighty Allah to give us the ability to reach our goals as well. Wal asri, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Wal asri, inna al-insana lafi khusri, lallazina amanu wa amilus solihat. وتواصوا بالحق سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد ان لا اله الا انت سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام
على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Thank you everyone. Join us next week. Wassalam.
Professor Idris, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Salam alaikum.
Yes, boss. Wa alaikum salam.
إنكم لفي قول مختلف يؤفك عنه من أفك قتل الخراصون الذين هم في غمرة ساهون يسألون أيان يوم الدين يوم هم على النار يفتنون ذوقوا فتنتكم هذا الذي كنتم به تستعجلون إن المتقين في جنات وعيون آخذين ما آتاهم ربهم إنهم كانوا قبل ذلك محسنين كانوا قليلا من الليل ما يهجعون وبالأسحار هم يستغفرون وفي أموالهم حق للسائل والمحروم وفي الأرض آيات للموقنين وفي أنفسكم أفلا تبصرون وفي السماء رزقكم وما توعدون فورب السماء والأرض إنه لحق مثل ما أنكم تنطقون هل أتاك حديث ضيف إبراهيم المكرمين إذ دخلوا عليه فقالوا سلاما قال سلام قوم منكرون فراغ إلى أهله فجاء فقربه إليهم قال ألا تأكلون فأوجس منهم خيفة قالوا لا تخف وبشروه بغلام عليم فأقبلت امرأته في صرة فصكت وجهها وقالت عجوز عقيم قالوا كذلك قال ربك إنه هو الحكيم العليم قال فما خطبكم أيها المرسلون قالوا إنا أرسلنا إلى قوم مجرمين لنرسل عليهم حجارة من طين مسومة عند ربك للمسرفين فأخرجنا من كان فيها من المؤمنين فما وجدنا فيها غير بيت من المسلمين وتركنا فيها آية للذين يخافون العذاب الأليم وفي موسى إذ أرسلناه إلى فرعون بسلطان مبين فتولى بركنه وقال ساحر أو مجنون فأخذناه وجنوده فنبذناهم في اليم وهو مليم وفي عاد إذ أرسلنا عليهم الريح العقيم ما تذر من شيء أتت عليه إلا جعلته كالرميم وفي ثمود إذ قيل لهم تمتعوا حتى حين فعتوا عن أمر ربهم فأخذتهم الصاعقة وهم ينظرون فما استطاعوا من قيام وما كانوا منتصرين وقوم نوح من قبل إنهم كانوا قوما فاسقين والسماء بنيناها بأيد وإنا لموسعون والأرض فرشناها فنعم الماهدون ومن كل شيء خلقنا زوجين لعلكم تذكرون ففروا إلى الله إني لكم منه نذير مبين ولا تجعلوا مع الله إلها آخر إني لكم منه نذير مبين كذلك ما أتى الذين من قبلهم من رسول إلا قالوا ساحر أو مجنون أتواصوا به بل هم قوم طاغون فتول عنهم فما أنت بملوم وذكر فإن الذكرى تنفع المؤمنين وما خلقت الجن والإنس إلا ليعبدون ما أريد منهم من رزق وما أريد أن يطعمون إن الله هو الرزاق ذو القوة المتين فإن للذين ظلموا ذنوبا مثل ذنوب أصحابهم فلا يستعجلون فويل للذين كفروا من يومهم الذي يوعدون بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والطور وكتاب مسطور في رق منشور والبيت المعمور والسقف المرفوع والبحر المسجور إن عذاب ربك لواقع ما له من دافع يوم تمور السماء مورا وتسير الجبال سيرا فويل يومئذ للمكذبين الذين هم في خوض يلعبون يوم يدعون إلى نار جهنم دعا هذه النار التي كنتم بها تكذبون أفسحر هذا أم أنتم لا تبصرون اصلوها فاصبروا.
Assalamu alaikum. I think we can talk now. Everyone's left on.
The YouTube live is still there. You can get it off. The live session on YouTube is still there.
Well done, Bramunu. Good
Yeah,
moderation.
Chairman, before you start, the YouTube live is still there.
Wow, okay, that's fine. We have to stop that soon. Okay, let me call. Okay, sorry. We have to log out from this meeting. I can't disconnect the YouTube, and Ibrahim is not picking his call. So I don't know, Mr. Kodija, can you share a link?
Can I what?
Share a link that we can use to have a brief meeting now. We can't use this because it's still live on YouTube. Okay. So let's leave this meeting. So I will join Sister Khadija. Share the meeting link, please, in our meeting group. Thank you.